Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy V, the 4-job Fiesta for T&V Small Critter Rescue. Last episode we saved the moogle, and the moogle showed us his village, and we're about to enter that village right now. So, yep, we're in it right now, and all the moogles are scared. Remember what Galuf said, that moogles tend to be very shy, so it's no surprise that they're all running indoors and hiding, and their doors are locked. So, even the one we rescued, he's a little apprehensive. But we can find him in the upper right corner, and that's how we're going to advance the game. So I just want to show off all these doors that are locked. We can't get in them now, so we have to just talk with this moogle who's hiding up here. And he runs away from us, but then he realizes, he's like, wait a minute, you're the people who saved me from the Tyrannosaurus. So he's going to, I guess, communicate with his friends that we're alright. Kupo. Are you thanking us? He's gonna thank us by giving us a bunch of treasure. Right in here, inside this little house of his and his tree. Although it's not, the best treasure isn't in this room. It's over in one of the doors to the left. So, but there's still some good stuff here. I mean, money. If we did have a dancer, this dancing dagger that we're about to pick up, would be pretty good because it basically mimics what the dancing dagger, what the dancer does. You just equip it, and when you attack, you have a random chance to do one of those dances that the dancer does. So it's a way to get the dancer ability without having a dancer in your party. It was useful in some 4-job fiestas for me. Like I didn't have a dancer for the blue mage party, or a Beastmaster to control, so I was able to use the Dancing Dagger to put the Tempting Tango on some enemies and get some blue magic that I wouldn't get otherwise. So, it helped out. But we saw a moogle suit there, and we see a locked chest in here, and this moogle doesn't want to talk with us. If you want to get that chest, what you have to do is you have to go back, grab the moogle suit, put the moogle suit on, and then you'll convince that moogle over there in the tree to the left that you're a moogle, and he'll give you access to the treasure chest. He ends up getting a little bit of a crush on you. That must be a really well-designed moogle suit. You just talk with him, and hearts appear above his head, and he will unlock the chest for us. And we're going to get another elf cape. So yeah, that's good. We can throw it on our dancer TNV and move him up to the front row. The elf cape will help keep him alive. I guess if we really wanted to, we'd also put the Guardian Knife on him. It would cut his attack power down, but it'd give him a lot of survivability because the Guardian Knife's a chance to avoid attacks in the Elf Cape. Except we're going to talk with all the moogles. This moogle's going to climb the tree, and we're going to learn that moogles have telepathy. And he's going to communicate with this moogle who is hanging out with Kara. Kara, you know, is Galuf's granddaughter. And the moogle basically conveys the message to Kara that her grandfather is in the moogle forest. What's going on? Seems the grandpa's at the moogle village. Moogles use telepathy. Even when they're separated, they can talk in with their minds. Of course, you didn't have that in there, but yeah, this is an old translation. So I think it's one of the first translations. I think Final Fantasy V was one of the first ROMs that people actually translated from Japan into American, because this one was never released in America initially on the Super Nintendo. Eventually it came over here on like the PlayStation and Game Boy Advance. But, yep, for a while there we didn't have this one, so dedicated fans found it and decided to translate it, because Final Fantasy back in the day was the big RPG. Now there's just so many out there. Back in the day it seemed like the two big ones were Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. And those two are still around, but there's so many other RPGs out there, so many different styles. Western RPGs kind of got popular with like the Diablo series, the Knights of the Old Republic, Baldur's Gate type games. So So the Hiryu looks like a little moogle face there in the forest. And the Hiryu, I was going to say Hyrule. That's where Zelda takes place, the Kingdom of Hyrule. The Hiryu lands here, and this is a pretty strong Hiryu because it manages to carry 6 people. It'll carry all 4 party members and Kara and the moogle back to the castle where they're from. We're going to learn a lot more about Galuf's past. Even though Galuf regained his memory, he didn't tell us everything about himself. We're about to learn a few secrets about Galuf here. So he's going to take off. Too bad they ain't going to let us fly around, but we're going to learn why we can't just take the Hiryu right now, why we have to head back to the castle where Kara's from. We get a little glimpse of the overworld. At least they're not going to do a cutscene where the thing flies right over the mountains. It stinks when they do cutscenes and the thing does something that you can't do. Kind of like how Sid and Mid were able to land the Black Chocobo on areas where there was no forests. Like, why couldn't we do that? Could have saved a lot of trouble. But I guess non-playable characters can do certain things that us player characters can't do. I'm going to let the Hiryu rest. Yeah, the Hiryu was, remember, Kara said earlier that it was wounded in the battle. So maybe it just didn't escape the barrier. We're going to learn if we look at the map. We will, not this episode, but the next episode, because we'll be just taking the rest of this episode to explore this castle here. But when we look at the map, we find out that this castle is directly to the west of the big bridge and Exteth's castle. So we're going to make a return trip there. But all these people are addressing Galuf as King Galuf. Turns out Galuf is also royalty, so it's not just Princess Lenna and Princess Sarissa there, Faris. What's going on with Exteth? There were no significant ruins since the barrier's completion. I see in our army, it was almost entirely wiped out in battles with Exteth's monsters. I apologize, sir. Oh. Here's TNV shocked to find out that Galuf's a king. And I thought you were just an old man. You were a king? Well, so I am. King? I wonder if he got his crown by basically doing that heroic deed of sealing Exteth 30 years ago. We learned in Final Fantasy IV a lot of people got, because of their heroic deeds, got crowned royalty. Yang and Fabule, Cecil and Baron. Edge, I mean, well, he was sort of next in line after his parents, because his parents passed away, but he's another one who became a king. Edward was a king too, but he became a king, but he was already the prince, so. But even though Galuf was a king, more importantly, before you even knew he was a king, we knew he was a friend and a party member. So he's just like, hey, just call me Galuf. He's apparently the king of a country called Bao. So, I wonder, being an old guy and the king, why he didn't send one of his strongest soldiers out to deal with Exteth. Being an older guy, well, he ain't in the best of health, but maybe he just figured, I dealt with Exteth before, so I'm the only one capable of dealing with him. So there's the moogle, doesn't say too much. Kara can apparently communicate with the moogles, though. Yeah, I guess this is what he just said, so a very mysterious power. I wonder if she knows the language, moogle language, or if they just translate it in English with a magic spell or something. But we can't sleep in King Galuf's bed like we could at the King of Fabule in Final Fantasy IV. Yeah, in the middle of that attack, we're just like, oh, let's, well, right before the attack, we're like, hey, let's sleep in the king's bed, and we did. This is going to give it a little bit of a flashback to Fabule a little bit, because we're going to end with a battle outside this castle. But it's not going to be the Fabule battle in Final Fantasy IV, where there's going to be multiple enemies and multiple attacks one after another. Just one battle and that's it. It's going to be against an old friend. updated, old friend. But in the meantime, we're learning that the Hiryu is, because he was injured, he's sick, he overstrained himself flying that last rescue mission, and in order to heal him up, we're going to have to go get some Hiryu plant. So like how we had the Hiryu plant on the North Mountain, and we fed it to the Hiryu to heal him when he left the Wind Shrine. So we got to do a similar event in this world. I'm gonna go find the Hiryu plant, and once again, it's gonna be kind of in a mountain. Although it says that the value of Hiryu, there's a single mountain in the middle, like the Lonely Mountain that the dwarves went to in Tolkien's in the Hobbit. But instead of going for the dwarven gold there, we'll be going for the Hiryu plant, which is, I guess, better than gold because it's the only thing that can heal this Hiryu. And the Hiryu is going to become an important way of travel for us in this world. Unlike the first world where we had an airship, we're not going to get an airship in Galuf's world here. Also not going to get a black chocobo either. So we're going to have to rely on the Hiryu for doing our air travel. So, tells us to get the Hiryu plant. But before we do that, let's go talk with all the people in the castle here. We get a little preview of a future dungeon or a future section of the game. Fight some enemies too. Yeah, there's enemies in the castle, so, but only in one area. So the big bridge is complete. We can't get there. We'll check that out later. Like I said, we're going to spend this episode just exploring Galuf's castle. This guy explains that Galuf's all his weapons and armor was destroyed in the meteorite crash, so that's why when he came to us, he had nothing on him. So and this guy lets us know that Gilgamesh has defeated most of the castle's army. This guy tells us, hey, this door to the basement won't open no matter what. So let's go explore this dungeon here, or this basement, which is kind of a mini dungeon. But we're going to find some way to get behind that door, and we will later on in the game. But for now, can't really do anything down here except for fight these monsters, these statue monsters. They can appear in groups of 2 or 5. They don't give good experience, so you only give 100 experience, so this is 200 experience divided by 4 party members. That's only 50 experience. But they give really good ability points. Like we can get 4 ability points from just these 2. If there was a group of 5, we'd get 8 ability points, so it's a good place to grind jobs. If you're not just looking to grind levels, you're not getting a lot of experience, but you're getting a lot of job points. They're easy to defeat. If you have a blue mage with a level 5 doom spell, you can just cast that, it takes them all out. If you don't, you can do what I just did there and just throw soft potions on them. Remember that person in Crescent Island said that, you know, hey, monsters of stone are weak to the soft. So we threw a soft potion on the stone golems outside of Istory, and now we can throw them here on these statues. So we just have in an item shop here. We're gonna max out our, might as well max out our healing high potions. Not too much that we're gonna have to really buy. And sell a bunch of this stuff. All the drinks we'll be able to use. That dancing dagger, we don't need that because we have a dancer already. Got another elf cape, so that power is not going to be too useful. That's more useful for like a physical oriented class, like a knight, a berserker, a monk, who mainly relies on the physical. This is our party. While we do have the magic sword knight, you know, their main damage comes from the spells they cast on their swords. Hit and exploit elemental weaknesses. They do not hit as hard as a knight, even though they share some of the knight's equipment loadout, like swords and heavy armor. But now I'm gonna go over here. We got weapons and armor. Don't need to buy any of this stuff. It's pretty much the same stuff that was in Regal, the western town. Same thing with the magic over to the left. But if you didn't have enough money back then, you can pick up all the stuff now. The main thing that in our party we want to pick up is all those black magic spells because they are the ones for the level 5 sword magic. And we'll show them off a little later. We just haven't found any really good enemies that can use them against. stone is actually pretty good. The stone is actually pretty good against some bosses, because some bosses are actually weak to status effects. This is an angel suit. It's only for the chemist, so we'll just sell that. If we come back here, and we stand between these two merchants, we pretend to play merchant. And unfortunately, these guys don't really like us doing that. So they kick us out, but they feel bad about kicking us out. And we're actually going to get an item from the weapon shop guy. He's going to give us a heart, but we have no use for it because we don't have a bard character in our party, so they'll on the heart. And they just tell us to run us off limit. Reminds you a little bit of Breath of Fire, the first one. You have a fishman who's Gobi in that game, who's a merchant, and in the one town underwater, you can go to the empty merchant place and stand there at the desk and sell and buy items like customers come to you. It's the only way to get like the best hammer in the game for your one party member, Ox. In that game, like all the characters are like humanoid. They're not necessarily totally human. The main character is a human dragon hybrid. You get like a bird lady hybrid, a wolf man hybrid. The thief is a shapeshifter. You have an ox man, a fish man, a mole man, a snake lady. So weird game. Didn't really care for it, but it was one of those games that looked interesting in Nintendo Power. What's interesting back here is if we go all the way to the back here, we find an Ippy, which is a type of fencing sword. It's very, very powerful, so I'm going to equip that. I guess they decided to give you that powerful sword because it doesn't have any status-inflicting ailments like the previous swords we were using. The ancient sword inflicted the old status, and the slumber sword there inflicted the sleep status. EP doesn't do any of those statuses, but just hits a little bit harder. And most of the time we need to hit something hard, we can also use the spell blade, the magic, to enhance our abilities, exploit it in our weakness. Just kind of reminds me of Baron, in Final Fantasy IV, the passageway, the secret passageway into the castle, the Baron Waterway. So, you talk with any of these guards, and we get the same dialogue. Basically say like, hey, Gal says, open the doors, and the guards are like, no, if we do, the monsters will come in. But then Galuf, being the king, he basically tells them, like, hey, open the doors as soon as we step out, lock the doors, and never open them for anyone. Which is going to come back and kind of bite us later on. But we find another way to get into the castle there. Funny how X-Death minions don't find that way. But so yeah, seal the gates. And as soon as they run in, then X-Death's minions appear. And even though we're going to see 3 monsters on the screen, it's only going to be one fight. And it's the same sprite that abducted Lenna and Faris when we first came to this world. And it's the same enemy. It's a little stronger though, has some more hit points. It has 1,000 more hit points. But it'll be easy to take down because we have 4 times the party members. We've got a full party here. So the tornado basically just guarantees that it's single-digit hit points now. Donk! Hit it with the EP, and the abductor is gone. Lenna learns level 4 white magic, which is as high as the white magic we got so far. So make a save out here, and we'll explore the rest of this area and go look for that Hear You plant in the next episode. Take care, have a good one. Bye!